And in my final video here, I'm just going to talk about, rehash a couple of main points here that could probably give you some trouble, and go over one specific limitation with the charting and the data. So I wanted to just kind of go over this whole this whole issue with NAs because it can be a little confusing. It's super advantageous if you find somebody that is familiar with VLOOKUPs, and that will help. But in short, each one of these sources, if I click on the All Alarms tab again, each one of these sources is a fault in and of itself. It's kind of not intuitive the way that the column is labeled. It should actually be a fault code. And then that fault code is tied to a cabinet, and then it's of course tied to a description. So I think the hierarchy is more like cabinet first, then fault code, followed by the description. And then we use that information over here in the lookup table to determine the type of fault that makes sense to you and I. So I just want to make sure that that's clear moving forward, because when you first start to pull your data, your fault codes at your facility may be completely different than they are here. And so short of Dematic providing those fault codes, because I had asked our CSX folks and they weren't able to, at least the ones I talked to weren't able to give me a full and complete list, which would be super advantageous if there was a fault code in one column equals a type of problem in the other column, and it listed all of them out. There may be 4,000 or 5,000 of them at the end of the day. I mean, certainly in the robotics facilities, it's going to be a whole lot more. But in any case, I just wanted to reiterate that. And then lastly, I wanted to sort of talk about our line charts down here, because what we want to see on line charts is a frequency of a fault over a given period of time. And just interestingly enough, a couple of observations. So first of all, if you look, you see some dips here in our data. And so what that represents is we had lost power in the building. And so naturally when that happens, we no longer are able to record data. Over here as well, we had a limb drive fault way back early on the 13th of February. That was the limb drive just continuously faulted all the time, fault. And so that takes our scale, and it doesn't really help us really intuitively get down into some of this data right off the bat. So kind of moving forward, I don't know that this line chart does us a whole lot of good outside of 30 days. So my suggestion moving forward, what I'll probably do in kind of next versions, is sort of break this down month by month by month, so that we can see things sort of normalize again. Oops, sorry. And we can see things sort of normalize. But just keep in mind that that's what's happening here, at least for our facility. So if you see data that dips or spikes, then there's a reason for that. And then the last thing I want to cover is, again, going back to the way that the data is presented. So if we click on our overheights again, which we just looked at a little bit ago, and we scroll back down, what we're going to see, let's see if it's going to make a liar out of me. Let me just look at this data just real quick. 3-1. It looks like every day is covered down here. But what we tend to find sometimes is that we're missing some data in between. So let me pick some. It's not a great example. Oversized tote, maybe. No, that's not going to be a good example either. Sorry. Let me pick this one, something a bit more obscure. Photo eye oscillating. Okay, so yeah. So here we can see that we've got data here. So 0 is the mark. Well, Dematic doesn't doesn't record a 0 on the spreadsheet when it exports it. It only records it when there is an alarm. So when we're looking at it, we have to keep that in mind and remember that in between the 31st and the 16th, there are naturally 17 days, yet it's only showing the 4 days that it had the fault. So just kind of keep that in mind moving forward, and that'll keep you sort of keeping things into perspective. Especially if you see massive swings in data, it could also be super advantageous because it's only going to point out where we have the faults at. So as there is a negative to looking at the line charts, there is as well a positive from time to time. So anyways, that kind of wraps it up. That's our tool, Alarm Analytics version 1.81. I sense that there's going to be quite a bit more changes moving forward, but as you get it, I'm going to send it out, and all of these alarms will be blank in here. And so you're going to have to go in and put your own alarms in there, and then of course go through the process just as I described it from the previous videos. And my information is on the last slide. So if you want to hit me up with an email, even better if you can download a screenshot, screen videoing, and show me what the problem is happening. It will be a whole lot easier for me to respond. Screenshots sometimes are helpful too, but the video recording is the absolute best way to show me what you're experiencing so that I can provide you with some advice and or tips moving forward. Okay, so thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and good luck, and I hope it provides some fruitful information.